Hello everybody, this is Dragonzilla1991 here, and the subject for today/tonight, depending on what time it is when you're watching this video, will be on a figure that I've been dying to get ever since it was announced, and that would be the Safari Limited Megalosaurus. And before we talk about the model, what was the real animal? Well, it was a theropod that lived during the Middle Jurassic period, first evolving 166 million years ago, and then went extinct 165 million years ago, so it sounds like it didn't exist for long. However, despite living in the shadow of Tyrannosaurus rex, Megalosaurus is actually quite an important species because it was the very first dinosaur to be named by Sir William Buckland in 1824. So last year the awareness of this reptile turned 200 years old. It was one of the stars of Crystal Palace Park and first built in 1845, where it was originally depicted as a giant reptilian bear-like beast, severely inaccurate by today's standards. But you can still visit the statue, like I did last year. The link is in the description below, in case you wish to check the video out. And of course, fun fact, Megalosaurus is also well known to be this guy. Now onto the model itself. Well, first I'm going to bring up the colour scheme, and I gotta say that I absolutely adore it, being mostly dark green, and given the environment that Megalosaurus lived in, this would be suitably perfect. And the underbelly is a nice lovely red, and because both red and green are my favourite colours, I welcome this. And since it's a safari figure, it really does make a nice change from the usual brown, yellow and orange, that are the more trademark colour palettes by Safari. Some fans when visiting Crystal Palace Park have not only pointed out that the statue is all quadrupedal, where it should be biped, but they have also criticised the statue for lacking in feathers, where to my knowledge we don't have any scientific proof that Megalosaurus did actually possess feathers. In fact, from what I have heard, no complete skeleton of this predator has ever been discovered yet. But from its relatives, we do have a pretty good idea on what Megalosaurus looked like. If the animal really did have feathers, then I believe that it would show up in the fossils. Anyway, for the possibility for Megalosaurus possessing any plumage, I think that it's most likely that it would have had fine hair-like feathering, as seen on Tyrannosaurus, but Safari have gone for smooth skin, which kind of reminds me of elephant skin, but still reptilian-looking in appearance. The mouth is open, however we can see that he has lips covering half of his teeth, so imagine if the figure had his mouth closed. Now from what I have heard, some folks have said that this for a safari model feels more like a Shrike figure, and I can definitely see where they're coming from, as there are some areas that actually do give me Shrike vibes, but I can assure you that this figure is 100% safari. It's just that Megalosaurus was just a really slender dinosaur. And let's face it, if this was made by Shrike, then the teeth would stick out a lot more, making the Megalosaurus look hideously inaccurate. The model has quite a glossy sheen to it, and as we all know, Megalosaurus was a land-living dinosaur and no aquatic species, to our knowledge and understanding. But perhaps the idea is that it might have rained, or he's just taken a bath and he's finished having a wash down. Now, how does he fare in size comparisons? Megalosaurus was in life 6 meters and 20 feet long, while Allosaurus, who lived millions of years after Megalosaurus went extinct, was over 8.5 meters and 28 feet long. Now I'm no whiz at maths, but judging by the sizing, it would appear that despite the name, Megalosaurus was actually dwarfed by Allosaurus. However, to be fair, Megalosaurus was found decades before Allosaurus was discovered, but either way, this is what he looks like with Safari's interpretation of Allosaurus, as well as the PNSO Allosaurus. Safari Limited Allosaurus has his own video, by the way. Link to the review is in the description below, and PNSO has yet to be covered. This is what he looks like with the Safari Limited Stegosaurus, who's also been talked about before. Links in the description below. Here he is with the Safari Limited Ichthyosaurus that we've also looked at. Again, link below. Here he is with both the Collector and Papo Iguanodons, to which, despite what those old early Victorian illustrations show, neither reptile lived at the same time as one another, as Megalosaurus was from the mid-Jurassic, 166 million years ago, and Iguanodon was early Cretaceous, 126 million years ago. So Megalosaurus was actually already extinct by the time Iguanodon evolved, but both would have been native to jolly old England. The two Iguanodon models have their own video, by the way, link below. This is what he looks like with the old Invicta Megalosaurus, and here he is with some other giant colossuses that also have Mega in their names, those being Safari Limited Megatherium, the giant ground sloth that we looked at along with the woolly mammoth and Smilodon, link below, Papo giant Irish elk Megalosaurus, soon to be looked at, the script has been written and the pictures have been taken. Collector Megalodon, and for the fun of it, Bandai Movie Monster Series Megalon from the 1973 movie Godzilla vs. Megalon, who was also looked at a few years ago, link below. So overall, what are my final thoughts on the Safari Limited Megalosaurus, aka the real life Earl St. Clair? Truly fantastic, and a great representation of the most important dinosaur in the history of paleontology. Megalosaurus was another theropod that was on my request list because this carnivore is my 5th favourite species of dinosaur, coming in at number 5. Highly recommendable, especially if you're a Jurassic period enthusiast like yours truly. He may be short and slender despite the name, but he's still awesome looking nonetheless. This is Dragonzilla 1991 signing out. Take care, thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye for now.